Well, extremely proud of the way our kids battled and played and overcame all the adversity that usually comes in a game. And I think the one thing that sticks out is, they play for each other, and guys got to step up. They find their way to step up, and doesn't matter what happens, they keep playing the next play. And proud of that. Nebraska's a heck of a football team, and that was it was a good win. And every game plays out differently, and I thought defense did a ton of good things, and the takeaways were big. And we struggled a little bit, had a good first drive, and then struggled a little bit offensively. Weren't converting on third down, so we weren't able to really create any rhythm. And I thought the way we finished the game, thought the run game was big and made enough plays. But appreciate this group and what they did to give us a chance tonight, and they found a way to win.
Jim.
Paul, Dare was very effective. What did you see from him that was allowing him to be so productive tonight?
Yeah, he came up big, and I thought that, a lot of it, and we hadn't been doing a ton of running out of our three wides, and I thought that, had a pretty good plan going in, and kids executed it, and I thought that he ran hard, and I thought he was decisive, and I thought it was a big part of getting us going.
Adam.
Paul, what went into your decision-making process with the rotations at quarterback and running back? Was it play calling, hot hand, gut feelings? What was it?
I think that, we went in and knew that we wanted to play both Bart and Alex at the quarterback spot, and as you saw early in the game, wanted to get Bradrick involved, and knew that Corey and Dari were going to go, and so you're trying to manage a little bit the production, but that's so. For a running back, it's what are the other 10 doing, and for a quarterback, it's kind of the same way. So you can't just base it on that. And I think that for us in moving forward, for us to be the best team we can be, we've got to have everyone. And I think I've got to do a better job of helping the quarterbacks. I thought they did some good things. A big play Alex made on the touchdown, and I thought both had some really good moments, and I think both, those picks hurt you, but that's. I also want them to play, and I don't want them playing on edge. But it's. I thought we knew we were going to play them all that we're talking about, and I'm glad we did.
Coach, why did you choose to go with Bart for the overtime period instead of Alex?
He'd just been going, and I thought that depending on what we might need, gave us our best chance. But really both could have gone in, and it was just kind of stayed with them as much as picking one over the other.
Lee.
Hey, Paul, the challenge at the line of scrimmage tonight on both sides, was it as tough as maybe you guys have seen this year?
Yeah, I think they're a really good team, and on both sides of the ball. And we knew we were going to have our hands full there, and you saw it in the first half. Offensively couldn't get much going, and I think, their quarterback adds a whole nother dimension to what they're doing. And so we knew that the game was, I don't want to say just won or lost in the line, but it was going to be a big part of it. But yeah, I thought our guys, I thought our D-line played well, and I thought, defensively we were good in a lot of areas, and we knew. They're an explosive offense, and we knew they were going to make some plays, and you had to just withstand that. And I thought that, as the game went on, we were able to get some things going in the run game, and that's where I appreciate what the kids did.
Adam.
Paul, what do you have to say about your linebackers tonight? You're playing without Sitchi, and you got Watt in and out with injury, and guys stepping up, making plays.
I mean, that's a big part of this team is guys stepping up. And I think one thing that sticks out to me about this group is they care a lot about each other, and therefore when they're in that situation, they will put it all out there. And I think that, I thought the coaches did a really good job of preparing them and, giving them confidence in what we're doing. And yet what's fun about the game is they still got to go out and execute it. And I thought there's a lot of guys that stepped up in that moment. And, my hat's off to the kids. They play the game, and they're fun to be around, and doesn't always go the way we want it. And adversity hits you, but they turn their focus to the next, and that's fun to see. You appreciate that from, because Ryan made a big play a number of times. Leon made a couple plays, and certainly TJ, Vince, Duels, they were good. And like I said up front, I thought our D-line did a nice job, and corners were challenged and made some plays. It's team defense, and I think it starts with a good plan, and guys are going out and executing. They're playing the game.
After the Ohio State loss, a lot of guys talked about how too often you guys ended up coming close but not on top, and ultimately the final score was only what mattered. How big is it for the locker room and the confidence of these guys that you guys get in the close game and are finally able to put it over the top and come out with the victory?
I think anytime you play and you put so much into that week, the game, and when it doesn't turn out the way you'd like it, it hurts. And that's what I've appreciated from this group. They do put themselves out there, and when it does go your way, you feel good. And you still know, we didn't fix all of our problems. There's things that we can do to get better at, but I don't think the team lacked confidence, and we've been in a lot of close games, and so it wasn't. I don't feel that as much as you put it all out there, and you do it to compete and to win. And when you do, it feels good, and when you don't, it stings.
Anything else for Coach? Last one right here, Jake.
Just with Leon Jacobs and going to fullback, switching back to linebacker, and how did he perform in terms of just what did you see out of him, the positives, and then was there anything that you saw that maybe he needed to continue to work on with this game?
I'm sure when we look at the film, there's going to be some things that Leon can do, but I think Leon's another great example of a guy that will do anything he can to help this team. And whether it was going to fullback and then going back to linebacker, or he's on a bunch of our special teams. I think he is an example of this group, and that they'll do anything they can to help this team be the best it can be. And so I don't know as far as grading him out, but I know that he showed up on some plays, and I know he showed up on some special teams, and I think he represents this group, and that's a guy that's unselfish and will do all that he can. All right,
Thanks,
thank
Coach.
you.